Welcome to Lore and Love Books. Crafting your own mechanics can be a lot like designing a game, but when done well, it adds a whole new layer of excitement for your readers. When starting out, it's tempting to create a vast, complex system, but it's better to start small and expand as the story develops. When you have enough experience, you go crunchy. Until then, center on core mechanics first, such as leveling, health, and skills. You can always layer on more complexity as you go, but starting with a manageable system will help keep the mechanics from overwhelming you as the author. Instead of creating a 50-tier spellcasting system with elemental affinities, start with something like a mana pool and basic spell types: Fireball, Shield, Heal. Then introduce specializations later. What else? Well, the mechanics of your world should feel integrated into the story and setting, not just bolted on top. Give the game mechanics real consequences that affect the world and the character's progression. But how? Easy stuff. Think of ways the mechanics influence the plot or character development. How does leveling up or using special skills impact your system, relationships, politics, or economies? Want an example? How about in a world where crafting weapons boosts stats? Maybe blacksmiths have risen to positions of power, or rare crafting materials are guarded by powerful factions headed by top-tier crafters. One of the joys of LitRPG is the thrill of progression. There's a huge satisfaction in watching characters grow stronger and unlock new abilities or overcome difficult challenges. Design your progression systems to allow for frequent small victories. This could be leveling up, unlocking a new skill, gaining rare gear, or mastering a new ability. Keep readers and your characters excited about the next big milestone. That's when you scale challenges to match the character's level. Introduce more complex enemies, dungeons, or environmental challenges as they grow in strength. There's a delicate balance to things. We have to avoid making things feel too easy or too difficult. Make choices matter in your story. Great LitRPG systems allow characters to make meaningful choices. Whether it's selecting a skill path, choosing gear, or deciding how to distribute stat points, give your characters and readers the sense that their decisions shape the story. One way to do this is by implementing branching choices with pros and cons. When a character chooses a certain skill path, make it meaningful. Unlock new opportunities while closing off others. Another thing is that you want to keep the story and characters first. While mechanics are essential to LitRPG, don't let them overshadow the story and characters. Readers are there for the adventure, the emotional stakes, and the character's journey as much as the game mechanics. So, use mechanics to enhance the narrative, not replace it. When a character levels up or gains a new skill, show how that affects their personal journey, relationships, or outlook on the world. Which brings me to another point. Reader accessibility is key. Introduce new mechanics gradually and explain them naturally within the story, rather than info dumping. Let readers learn the system alongside the protagonist. This way, your readers discover the intricacies without being overwhelmed. Now, when you're sitting down to hash out your game logic, the ever-present question will pop up. And that's, won't readers figure out I used Warhammer logic, smashed it with Guild Wars 2, and mixed in a little EVE economics into it? Yeah, reality check. Many LitRPG readers are also gamers, so they will recognize familiar RPG systems. While it's great to draw inspiration from existing games, try to give your system a unique twist. There's no easy way to go about it, but you can take traditional RPG mechanics, such as classes, leveling, or crafting, and introduce an unusual or fun element that makes your world stand out. Maybe stats aren't the only factor. Social connections or emotional bonds play a role in strength. Maybe instead of a standard health bar, maybe the protagonist has a resolve meter where emotional and mental fortitude is as important as physical strength. Too much damage to the resolve meter could lead to breakdowns or a temporary loss of abilities. The point is, yes, they might recognize things, but they won't care if your game logic is sensible, is somewhat unique, but is above all else consistent. Okay, we're going to wrap this up in a little bit. If you want to go the extra mile, test your system as if it were a game. Write out scenarios where your protagonist gains a level or unlocks a skill, and see how it impacts the flow of the narrative. Ask yourself, does it feel balanced? Are the rewards meaningful? Does it enhance the story or slow it down? Alright, now you can start building your own LitRPG mechanics like a boss. Do me a favor and subscribe for more writing tips. Got any questions? Ask in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow me for more LitRPG writing advice.